Alright, what's going on, guys? So if you weren't aware, we've had some pretty big news in the last few days with Modern Warfare. It started out pretty good. They announced the Season 1 Battle Pass. Seems like it has a lot of really good stuff. New maps for multiplayer, gunfight, and ground war. You know, most notably the multiplayer maps Crash, Vacant, and Shipment. You know, the only thing I really have to say about those is like, they're good maps, don't get me wrong, but I would just like to see a little bit of variety because those are all maps that have already been brought back before in the past. So I was just thinking maybe we could switch it up a little bit. But that being said, those three are already the best three maps in the game. You know, although I'm a little unsure about Shipment because Shipment can already be pretty AIDS, but once you add in everything that Modern Warfare has to offer, I can see it being a pretty toxic experience. So we'll have to wait and see about that one. But anyways, lots of good stuff coming in with Season 1. New maps, new game modes, new weapons. That's all great. But due to this upcoming Season 1 content, they actually invited some YouTubers out to the studios to get some gameplay and stuff. And while they were there, one of the YouTubers, Swag, actually got the chance to interview Joe Secott. I think that's how you say his name. He is the multiplayer design director for Infinity Ward. He's actually the guy that said that they designed the maps in Modern Warfare with safe spaces for noobs to camp in. So that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Joe over here. Now, he answered a lot of questions that we as a community have been asking and haven't really got much clarification about. So I wanted to go ahead and share some of these with you guys. So I'm just going to go down the list one by one, give my comments. You guys feel free to share yours as well. So let's start out with number 1. Ania Palace in Ground War. Currently focused on new Season 1 content, and they want to eventually add it to Ground War. Okay, that's cool, I guess. I mean, that's definitely what the map was designed for. It for sure was never supposed to be a 6v6 or 10v10 map. Number 2, Dead Silence. For pubs, they will lower the footstep volume overall. Devs working closely with pros to test out what works best. Great, that's exactly what I want to hear. You know, good job. This is probably the only positive thing that I got from this interview. Number 3, perk balance. Secott says Infinity Ward may have made some mistakes with perks and put too many in perk 1 slot. They need to analyze more and see how to change it to balance it better. Okay, I didn't really think anything of this. Honestly, I think perk 2 has the better perks in it, but I mean, whatever. I'm all for balance. Number 4, tank nerf. IW is working on nerfing the tank to reduce the straight shots it can make to avoid camping on the hills. This is pretty big. I mean, I don't really play Ground War, and the main reason I don't play Ground War is because I don't like the tanks. So this sounds like pretty big news for everyone that plays Ground War. Honestly, they should just tank the tanks out, man. If they took them out, I'd probably play that playlist, but like, I just can't stand it, man. Number 5, spawns in modes. Secott says they are working on ways to improve the spawns across all modes and maps, still figuring out best ways to balance it effectively. Yeah, spawns are definitely an issue, I'd say, on every single map that I've played and every single game mode, so they're right about that. It's good to see that they're attempting to fix them at least. Number 6, map voting. They don't want map voting because data from previous games shows that players leave if their vote does not win, which causes lobbies to break up. YouTubers suggested to add a vote to skip option. Secott says they will look into this. Okay, this is the one that really triggered me. He says the reason that we can't have map voting in Modern Warfare, which you guys know, this is something I've been talking about since the game released. I've mentioned this and I really don't understand it, but the reason we don't have map voting is because he thinks that people leave when their map choice that they voted for doesn't win. Okay, sure, I'm sure they do, right? Now, let me just explain to you why that is absolutely irrelevant to the situation. Because number 1, people already leave when it's a map that they don't like, right? Let's say you search up and you get put into a lobby and you see the map is Piccadilly. You would just leave, right? How is that any different from you searching up, getting put into a lobby where the maps are Piccadilly and Shoot House, and for some reason people voted Piccadilly over Shoot House? You would leave anyway. So how is that any different from what people are already doing? It's not. And number two, this is the part that really got me, okay? I don't know if this guy has ever played his own game before, maybe not, but the way the game already works is it breaks up the lobby after every game regardless. So you saying the reason we can't have map voting is because you don't want lobbies to break up doesn't make any sense, because lobbies already break up. So I'm just not understanding. Like, this shit ain't adding up. Like, I wish I got to interview these developers just one time. Fly me out. Let me interview you about the game, man. I would love for you to say some dumb shit like this to my face, man. I would just love to hear it. Anyways, number 7, staying in the same lobby. In regards to staying in the same lobby after the match, there is an error in the game that does this often. They wanted it to be where you can stay in the same lobby, but it resets every several games to change it up. But that did not get implemented fully into the game for launch. So basically, they have just admitted that the game is unfinished, which if you've played the game, you know that it's unfinished. Maybe if we gave them 5 years instead of 3, they could actually do their jobs correctly. But in my opinion, let me just give you a little conspiracy theory here, okay? I think the reason the lobbies break up after every game is because of skill-based matchmaking. It's not because they didn't have time to implement this feature where the lobby stays together. I'm pretty sure that the game is trying to recalculate your performance and figure out what type of lobby to put you into, right? Now, obviously, they would never come out and say that, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Number 8, probably the biggest issue on this list, Minimap. They have no plans to change the Minimap. The design of it now was how they intended for it to be in this game. CCOT says they want the UAV to be more of a reward. Swag says they asked why Ghost is so powerful then, and CCOT apparently said they would look at that more, but they want Minimap to stay as is. So yeah, basically they're saying, yeah, we know the majority of the community does not like the way the minimap is, but we don't really care. That's the way we intended it to be. Basically, they're pulling a Michael Condrey from World War II, if you guys remember that. And honestly, I bet this game heads down a pretty similar path as World War II. I think actually by the end of World War II, it was a pretty good game. But by then, myself, along with the majority of other people, had already quit because it took them so long to actually listen to community feedback and fix the game that everybody was like, I'm moving on. I'm not playing this anymore. And that's probably where this game is going to be headed. I can kind of see that already. And I like especially how he said that the UAV is a reward. A fucking UAV is a reward. Is it supposed to be hard to get a UAV? Like, I'm not understanding. But then I remembered this game was designed for people that suck. So for those people, getting a UAV is a big deal. It would be a reward to those people. You know what I mean? So the more they talk about this game, the more clear that it gets to me that it really was made for casuals. Like, honestly, the better you are at Call of Duty, the more you probably wouldn't like this game because you'll be able to see all the flaws with it, right? If you suck, you probably wouldn't notice half the things that are wrong with it. Number 9, Damascus camo issues. They are working to fix issues with unlocking the camo, and they have a fix coming soon. I mean, yeah, that's cool for whoever is going for that camo, I guess. I'd rather cut my own fucking dick off and barbecue it and eat it before I go for Damascus camo on this game. You got me all the way fucked up on that one. Now, finally, last but not least, number 10, skill-based matchmaking. At first, CCOT mentioned that it's a hot topic and he can't really talk about it. Matchmaking in Modern Warfare is not the same as Infinite Warfare and that it is different in every Call of Duty. He said that connection is a big priority. He said they are constantly tweaking it. So basically, he didn't really give an answer at all. They wrote a whole paragraph there about his answer, but there was no information. One thing that should be noted is he didn't deny it either. You know, he didn't answer the question, but he didn't deny it and say that skill-based matchmaking doesn't exist, which I think says a lot right there. But it is confirmed in the game. I've tested it myself on a second account. I encourage everyone who, you know, may not believe that it exists, make a second account that's level 1, go play like 5 games and, you know, go 0-40 5 times in a row. Just kill yourself, let the enemy kill you, just act like a complete bot, okay? And then see what type of lobbies you get put into it, and just tell me if that's any different from your main account, right? Both Drifter and Exclusive Ace both did like a real in-depth test of it, and they confirmed that it exists as well. So it is in the game. They're not going to talk about it, obviously. I'll give you my theory on why it exists. It really just goes with the overall theme of the game, with them trying to cater to new players or bad players. Basically, they're trying to protect these people from getting destroyed because, you know, it's 2019 and the world is all about, you know, having a safe space for everyone. Even on Call of Duty, like I remember back in the day when I first started playing Call of Duty and I was brand new, I was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. I got shit on over and over. Eventually, over time, I got a lot better. That's pretty normal. Apparently these days, no, that's not allowed. We can't let anyone get shit on. We got to protect their feelings. But I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. That's like the surface level explanation for it. But in my opinion, it's because of microtransactions. So if you think about it like this, back in the day when there wasn't so many like microtransactions in the game, there was no supply drops, no battle pass. All we had was a DLC map pack every like 3 or 4 months, you know, a couple times during the year. And that was it. Basically, Call of Duty made their money off the actual purchase of the game. And once they got your $60, they didn't really care anymore. If you guys remember back in MW2, it took them so long to patch all the glitches in that game. There was like game-breaking glitches going on for months before they actually patched it. That type of behavior would not fly these days, okay? People would be going crazy. But back then, they didn't care. You know, there was no Twitter for people to complain about it, you know what I mean? But now that they have all these microtransactions in the game, they're trying to keep everyone happy, okay? They need to keep everyone on the game the entire year so that you can keep spending money on supply drops the entire year, right? So let's think about it, right? The first COD that really introduced extremely strong skill-based matchmaking was Advanced Warfare. I had one of them like glitched God accounts in AW. It was like hacked. It had like 0 kills and like 500,000 deaths or whatever. And no exaggeration, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, I 100% without a doubt played against handicapped people on that account. They could barely even walk around. Like they didn't even know the game had jetpacks. They were like running around. They didn't even know you could fly. You know what I mean? That's the type of people you would play against. So Advanced Warfare had the strongest skill-based matchmaking ever, right? And wow, what a coincidence. Advanced Warfare was also the first COD where they started selling supply drops. Wow. I wonder if those two things might be related. I don't know. It's a real mystery. You know, maybe someone can figure that out. Yeah, anyways, that's it for the interview. We had a lot of questions answered that, you know, we've been wanting to get the answers to, which I do appreciate that they're at least giving us some answers instead of just staying quiet. So that's good. You know, even though it's not the answers that we wanted. So where does that leave us with Modern Warfare? I'm not sure, honestly. The one major positive is that it looks like there's going to be a lot of free content this year, especially with the maps. That's the biggest issue with the game, right? All the maps that came with the game, pretty bad. So I might be willing to put up with some of the bad stuff if I could at least get some good maps to play on, which it looks like we're going to get a lot of good DLC maps. So, you know, that is one positive that might keep me on the game. But other than that, I was just not happy with what I heard in this interview. So anyways, you guys tell me your thoughts in the comments section down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels